Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything. I'm coming at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In this video, what we're going to be doing is continuing on with our Market Garden project updates. It's June 24th, and we're exactly 2 months out from NashCon. Now, I'm doing this Market Garden project update, and I'm building this Market Garden series of projects, not for NashCon. Even though we are doing a Market Garden battle at NashCon, I'm doing this for my local gaming group. We're going to be doing a Market Garden campaign. So we'll be doing the whole A Bridge Too Far kind of dealio. Okay. Just got a box in today. I got excited. I wanted to open it up. I wanted to do a little bit of measuring on it and try to see if it's exactly what I'm looking to get and looking to use. And you're going to have a chance to check that out with me. Now, I have opened the box already. I've already pulled out the paper filler that was in here. I grabbed some of my cork tiles just so that I can compare them. And I've also grabbed an inch ruler. Let's get this box open. And I noticed that, okay, let's go back here. I noticed that these 6 by 12s, 6 inches this way, 12 inches by this way, are shrink wrapped. They got a rubber band around them, and they're made in USA of global material. What does that mean? But okay. It says nominal. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, these guys look pretty darn good. They're shrink wrapped. You might have to pop one of those open or also measure it. I already cheated a measure early before I did the video, and these guys are not all exactly the same size. But we'll take a look at those here in just a second. In the box, there's only a couple of additional things that I've got in the box. I've got the 12 by 12 tiles. Okay, so we're going to pull those out so I can get this box out of the way. And these are not shrink wrapped. They just have a rubber band around the top. You know. Okay. And so we can get this box and put it out of the way. And as you know, I'm planning on making a bunch of scenic tiles to lay out on the table. Okay. These all look like they're cut exactly the same, but when I went to measure them, let's go ahead and lay that flat. When I went to measure this, I'm using the inch ruler, and I'm measuring it right on the line. It's about exactly 1/8 of an inch short of 12 inches. So even though it says it's 12 by 12, you know, it's a lot like 2 by 4s. They're not actually 2 inches wide. They're like 1 3/4 inches. But this is 11 7/8. Okay, and if I measure it in this direction, almost exactly the same, 11 7/8. I wonder if they're all like that, or if it was just that bundle. Whoa, 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 that's millimeters. Okay, flip this thing over. 1 7/8. Okay. Not 1, 11 7/8. These are labeled as being precisely cut at 12 inches square. Well, they're exactly 11 1/8. So they're 1 inch shy, 1/8 inch shy. Now remember those first set of tiles that I sent back? They were 11 7/8. And I was afraid that there was going to be a gap between the plywood and the corkboard. Yep, same. So my guess is, even if this is correct, it's not correct because they're all 11 7/8. All right. So let's go ahead and pop the rubber band. It comes with a nice sturdy rubber band over them. That's pretty cool. That's 6 plus 4. It's like 10 giant rubber bands. Okay, nice. Okay. Let's just put this over here. So this is a tile that I will be using. Right? We're going to lay these multiple tiles beside each other. I'm going to flock and stuff like that. And these guys are going to form the basis of my terrain board. Now, on these tiles, I plan to put cork. Now, I've noticed that these packs of cork are exactly 12 inches. So I will have to, let's show you. I'll put the cork on the bottom. You might not be able to see what I'm doing here because of the way the camera's angled and things like that. But if I put this in the center of the cork, right, which is fine, I'll put it in the center of the cork. What'll happen is there'll be like a little bit of cork, and you might be able to see this on the camera. I don't know if you can or not, but there's going to be a little bit, about this much cork overhang all the way around. Okay, let's see. What I'm trying to figure out is if that cork overhang is going to cause my terrain. Okay, that's cool. That's super cool. Okay, I'm afraid that overhang is going to put some undue pressure on the corners, or the sides, I mean. And it seems like it's not. It's so thin of an overhang. Because remember that 1/8 inch divided by 2 is only like a 16th inch over, right? Yeah. So I'm even forcing it, like pushing on it and stuff. But once I put glue and maybe some spackling down on this, it's going to harden it up. Okay, and what that's going to do, this is now going to be the full tile, right? It's going to be a 12 inch by 12 inch tile. And then I'll have exactly the same thing on this other tile. And then what'll happen is, and I'll have to figure out the center and all that stuff later, but yikes. Okay, what'll happen is when I put these tiles down and I butt them up against each other, it's the cork that's going to be pushing up against each other. There's going to be a gap in the wood, as you can see right there, about of 1/8 of an inch. About 1/8 of an inch. There we go. That's what I meant to say. And yeah, this will be the basis of my terrain board. Flock it, put whatever kind of terrain features, hills, whatever I'm going to do. I've got this much room to work with. And you know, when you got troops, that's a big enough tile to do something with, you know. Okay. All right, so I'm happy about that. I mean, let me rephrase. I'm satisfied with that. These are not flexible at all. I'm struggling to bend, and they're not going to bend at all this way because of the way the plywood works. But yeah, that's not going to bend anywhere. It'll bend just a little bit, but that's me stressing it. Unlike this, you can see how that's flimsy, right? But once I glue it down straight onto that, it ain't moving anywhere. Okay, done. But now, this is the problem. This is the problem. I'm going to open one of these tiles up. Now all these packs come as packs of 6, right? Half a dozen. And I got 4 of these packs, so that's 2 dozen, right? Or 24 tiles. A lot of these are going to be rivers and roads. Okay. And it also comes with giant thick rubber band. Whoop, whoop. This rubber band's caught on some pepper. Some pepper. And it says nominal craft plywood made from, doesn't say what it's made from, but we all know it's birch. It's birch plywood. Okay. Global material. Whatever that means. Okay. I don't know what it means. Material you can find anywhere in the world. Though I don't know what global material means. Okay. So this is like a road piece. Now alone, this is pretty good. I mean, I could put roads on this and just lay it on the table like this, like boop, there's a road, you know, and I could do all kinds of stuff with that. But I do plan to cut these in half and put it on there to make these roads textured and give it a little bit of 3 dimensions, okay? And mainly so that it'll balance with the 1-inch tiles, 1-foot tiles. Okay, I just thought of this. I thought of it as a negative, but it just dawned on me that the complaint I was having is going to be a positive. Wow, okay. I'm turning it around. In my own head, I'm turning it around. Okay. When I measured this, I measured it lengthwise, and it is exactly, I mean, exactly 12 inches. I was like, but that's not 12 inches. This is going to stick out past it. You know, that 1/8 inch, it sticks out right there. It's going to be too big. But then I just thought of this to myself. I'm not cutting these 1-inch tiles to match that. I'm going to let them overhang by a couple of millimeters. So when I lay this on this, these are going to match up perfectly lengthwise. Widthwise, maybe not so much. They might overhang just a little bit because the width on this is, guess what? 5 7/8. So exactly like the foot long tiles, it's going to overhang 1/4 of an inch, but that's going to be fine. So it overhangs a hair, you know, like that. Okay, this is sticky. So it overhangs. It's not going to be bad. It's going to be so small of an overhang that it's not going to worry about it. And I'm going to texture all this anyway, and that's going to add strength to the edge of this. And I'm going to flock it and put rocks and all kinds of stuff on there. So, yeah. Okay, I got a project. I'm gonna have to start working on these. I've got more of these than I need, right? I got way more of these than I need. Well, I got more of these than I need. But I thought about, I got some paper. Okay, let me get up and let me reach over and grab this. No, let me go. Okay, and I got some paper. Just to back up a little bit. This is the cork that I was wanting to order, right? Just because of the thickness, how thick it is. But reading some testimonials, other people have cut it, and myself, I've cut it to make walls and rubble buildings and all kinds of things. When you cut this, it doesn't cut straight. It's all jaggedy. You can even see it right here. You might be able to see it. It's all jagged. And because it's made of big cells, when you cut and a cell is exposed, it pops off. So you get some really rough edges. So somebody was telling me that I should get one of those, like a Dremel tool, and go bzzz and cut it like that. because it will cut perfectly straight that way and you won't have any of that issue. But I don't cut with that. I cut with like an X-Acto knife or something like this. And I don't own a Dremel tool. I used to. I sold it because I never used it. And I'm not going to buy a Dremel tool just to do on this one project. It just doesn't make sense. I know I could probably use other things later down the road, but no, I'm not going to do it. So they recommend this type of cork, right? So that when you cut it, it'll be like a perfectly straight line. So we'll see when I get to cutting. Okay, but I cut out some card stock, like some, and they're not exact. They're like vague 1-inch squares, right? These are like 2 inches, 2-inch squares. And then I made some 1x2s to represent these boards. And so I've got this stack, which is these, and then this stack, which is those, and then I laid them out as a pattern, you know, like I said, like, there you go. Like, that's a 3x3 table, right? We'd play on it. I'd play out the thing. Now, if I wanted to add a road to that or something, I thought about these guys. I said, okay, let me shift these a little bit to the left. And then I could lay these down as roads, you know. And then if I wanted to, you know, I could throw a 4th road there and drop another 3 of these tiles down like this. And then I wrote on them what I'm planning on doing with them. Like I put grass on these guys, and then I actually have grass on those, but there's rivers on some of these and there's roads on some of these other ones. But there, now I've got a 4x3.5. If I wanted to make it a 4x4, I could always just add another 1/2 inch or a half tile of grass, you know, going like that. And I could mix and match that. That doesn't have to, you know, I could do something like this, or something. I could do something like this, you know, or whatever. However I'm doing it. I could do something like that. And that's going to be 4x4. And then I could add more. And I could do rivers and stuff like that. So basically I've cut out like a planning template. And then I went through and I wrote down what each of the tiles were going to be. Like grass or a road or whatever I put on there, right? And then I laid it out in I took some scenarios, started with like the first scenario, and see if I could lay the tiles out to make that scenario. And then I said, okay, sure, no problem. That's easy peasy. What about another scenario? Let's pull another scenario out. Let's shuffle these up. Use the ones that I've already written on first, like the ones with grass, put them down, the ones with roads, put them down. Oh, but on this one I need a river. So then I had to pull out the river tiles, but instead of putting those back in the pile, I put those off to the side, saying that they were going to be needed. Like these guys being the road, let's say, I put them over here and said, okay, we definitely need a road on that first map, but on the second map, I need a river running through here like this, right? So then I put the river pieces down, and then maybe there's a conflicting road. Maybe there's a road that goes, these would have been used, you know, this would have been used. And then I said, okay, what if I've got not just a river, but what if I have a road crossing the river, right? Like I crossed it up like this. And then I said, something like that. Now you notice how that gives me a 4.5. So these guys could easily just be like that, and then I could go back to the ones that I've used that I'm going to duplicate with or whatever. And then the other grass pieces that I was going to use I could put here. Like that, or I could take this, I could actually take this and put it here. And I could take this and put it there. But either way, so now I've got like a row, whoop, nope, not this one. I would have to put the grass and the road right there. Here we go. So I've got a road, but this river piece can't be just a river. It's going to have like a bridge area. So I actually made one where it's a bridge and did it just like that. Okay, now is a river this wide going to be okay for bolt action? I don't think so. So I'm not going to be able to use just one tile of this for a river. I thought about using a tile like this with a river down the middle and then a little bit of bank on both sides, making it about maybe making it like an 8-inch river. Then I said, no, I don't think I need to do that. I'm trying to conserve the usage of these. I thought it would be best to use 2 of these like this and put a bank of a river over here and a bank of a river over there, and this all being water, right? But then imagine we play like a beachhead or something. I could take these, put it like that, and now you've got beach, water, right? And if I wanted more water, I could just get some tiles out here and make more water, and then the land goes in that way. So basically I just wanted to make like 4 of these. That's not true. 8 of these, 1 on each side. Well, it's actually like, honestly, it's 6. And then 2 of them will have a bridge on it. So like, there'll be banks going into the river, but on this side, there'll be like the beginnings of a bridge, and over here there'll be the beginnings of a bridge, and then I'll take the girder bridge and I'll pop it right on there, and it'll be suspended about this high over the water, because I think I'm going to paint the actual wood as water. You know, I'm going to get it blue, and then I'm going to put some of that resin jelly on there so it'll look super good. That's the plan. Okay, that's the plan for the river and the bridge and the tiles. Now, the part of the problem I'm kind of running into is the roads. Roads, they're not always perfectly straight, right? And they shouldn't be. You wouldn't think they were. They shouldn't be perfectly straight. So I've considered doing roads on these tiles, the big tiles, and then I would, and this is where my dilemma is right now. This is where kind of my mind is going. I could have roads that start here and go across, or I could have a road that starts here and kind of turns, or catty corners, or it just goes straight at an angle, or just gradual curve or something. I was thinking I could do roads like that, but the problem with that is when you're laying them down. Now, there won't be a problem with, here, let me get like 3 of these. Let's get this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. There's not going to be a problem with me putting a tile here and putting a tile there. There's no problem, because I'm going to take one of these 6-inchers and I'm going to place it right there, right? And maybe another 6-incher going like this or something, right? So you're looking at, it doesn't matter how you put it together. But the road, if you have some of the roads on this and then some of the roads on something like this, they are going to have to meet up in either the north or south portion of that tile, and then exit on either the north or south portion of that tile. So let's say I need a road going from here straight across to there. Well, if that's the case, I'll just use one of these. But if I need a road going from here to over there, I won't be able to use one of these, because then I would have to have it laid out something like this, and that's not going to work. So I would have to have a big tile like this with the road curving like that. Yeah, so now, and then I think I showed you guys this before, and then I could have another tile here taking the road and continuing on, right? Or I could have, and then I could, you know, put another one of these here, or vice versa, however we want to do it. I was thinking that I'm going to need a big tile like this for some of the four-way intersections. The dilemma I'm having with that is, if the roads come in on the south and you want it to be a perfectly straight one way and another way intersection like that, but this is going to be a four-way intersection, the road's going to come forward, and then there's going to have to be like an exit either here or there, or there and there, right? So if I make the four-way intersection here, it'll be there, there, and there. So what I'm thinking, this is what's going through my mind, taking my saw out, cutting one of these in half. That'll give me two 6x6s, and then I can plop a 6x6, imagine half of this, for the four-way intersection, right? It'll just be like a four-way, and then I could continue the roads like this. Or I wouldn't even have to do that now that I'm thinking about it, right? Because if I am going to cut it and put a four-way anyway, why don't I just make the four-way intersection there with the second half of this just a road sticking out? So then it'll be like a road and then the four-way intersection. And then depending on how I want to lay it out, I can lay it out, you know, this way, and I'd still get the full length. But a lot of times I've noticed in the scenarios, four-way intersections wind up being exactly in the center of the map, and that's why I was thinking I'd cut it, and then we could just use, you know, tiles like that to make it exactly in the center of the map. I don't know. Okay, so that's my thought process. That's what, and I'm just trying to make a decision how I want to do it. I could do it both ways, but I think that's the way I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to cut it up, make a little 4x4 road intersection, plop it in the middle, put the roads, put the tiles. Then again, I don't know, because I don't want to put this in the middle, put the road intersection where roads come into the tile like this, because then that'll throw off all my lining up of everything else. Everything will get thrown off big time. And I don't want to do this, because then I'm feeling like I'm using a whole tile for only a little bit of a road split right there. So we're not going to do the full tile. We're definitely going to use one of these or half of one of these. If I do half of one of these, here's another thing. If I split this, I could make one a four-way intersection, and I could make one a three-way intersection. If I make it a three-way intersection, then we could have roads going that way and roads going this way and no road on that side. And then if I wanted a four-way, I could have the four-way. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split one of these, make it a three and a four-way intersection. And I've noticed in most of the scenarios, in the Market Garden book specifically, the roads are all straight. They're straight across the center of the table, or the intersection is straight at the center of the table, or there's two paths cutting straight across the table, or there's two paths cutting the lengthways of the table, or one path in the lengthway of the table. There's never any of this number. There is a couple of scenarios way in the back of the book for in the fields and stuff like that where those roads cut like that. But that's something that I can do later. I can, depending on how many extras of these I have, I could start turning some of these into bespoke tiles. Like these are like dirt trails, and they go in different directions, and they form all kinds of these Y intersections and stuff like that. But so that means I might have to order another pack of these. This is a return shipping label. Okay, but the 6-pack 12 by 12s is $12. So that means each of these was $2. Okay, so each one of these is a $2 purchase. And each one of these is a little over, that's like $7 for 6 of them. So it's $1, what, 20, something like that. I could have just bought 100 of these for a little extra money, but I wouldn't be able to make the full fields, and it's a lot easier just to go boop, you know, when you're setting up your table. So I could always order another pack or two of this. I'm getting 6 tiles for $12, so another couple of packs, I could really make some bespoke tiles. And I don't think when I was parting it out, I don't think I used all of them. I think there were 6 remaining. I think I had 6 extra tiles that I hadn't touched. And I don't know what I want to do with them, right? So I might do some bespoke curved fields or something like that. We'll see. But I'm going to make sure I do that last because I want to make sure I get all the other tiles first. All right, now let's talk about one more thing. Okay, if it's on the battlefield, is it just going to be flat grass? Just grass? If it was just going to be grass, I could just lay a blanket out on the table. Or if I wanted a little bit of hills, I could put stuff under the blanket. So I don't want it to be just grass. I could put some plowed fields on here. I could put some crop fields, like from my mats. I could put a crop field on top of it. I could put like a little pond or shell holes or anything like that. Okay, so that's going to happen. But I think that's what those 6 extra tiles were going to be. Because let's say we're playing in Arnhem, in the city. I'm not going to be able to just put out a bunch of grass tiles or a bunch of shell holes and ponds. It's going to have like maybe it's going to be flat, like cobblestone or something. Maybe I make a cobblestone tile, and that way when I put the buildings on it, it'll look like it's on a cobblestone. Or I thought about making like little corners and pieces of it with rubble. Or in the fields, even in the, yeah, so buildings aren't going to necessarily be able to sit on like a crater. It's not going to happen. And then in the fields, the open fields, I don't want it to be just grass. I want there to be fences and hedgerows and stuff like that. But I think those linear obstacles might have to be separate pieces that I place. I didn't want to do that. I want to like put a hedge around a plowed field, or I want to have a field that kind of goes at an angle so that when I put it out there, it's not just a perfect square, you know. And I wanted to put like some broken down fences or a broken down vehicle, and I don't want them necessarily to be pieces that I put on the table. I want it to be part of the table. So I mean, in in Sarissa's explanation, they actually glue their buildings directly to their boards, but I'm not doing that. That's just too much. Buildings are going to have to be placed because there's so many different varieties. So, yes, some of them are just going to be grass, and I think the majority of them are just going to be grass. But I can use different colors of grass, and I can put different patterns of grass, like using field patterns without actually putting the hedges on there. I could do that. If I do a plowed field or a crater or something like that, my tiles, they're 3 millimeters here and they're 3 millimeters there. So you're looking at like a 6 millimeter total for my tile, right? That's how thick the tiles are going to be. Maybe a little bit more with some flock. And then I'm planning on putting these up on the top shelf vertical like this. But I don't know. I might not want to do that with the little extra overhang. You know, over time that might wear that out and damage it. So I might stack them up like this, on one on top of each other, just to keep everything flat and everything. But if I do that, it's going to damage whatever terrain fixture that I put on there, or it's going to cause it to not be level. So I don't know. Maybe I put them like this. Maybe I do. And then make little pockets, like mail pockets, where I can say crater one goes in this one, and the hedge one goes in this one, and the plowed field goes in this one. You know, so I might make little pockets up there, or I might not. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to figure out a way to store them. All right, next thing on the project. Current thing I'm going to start actually tonight. I'm not doing this tonight. I have two forces that I need to complete. Actually I have 3, but I'm not going to count the third one. It'll be an extra one just in case. But the third 2 that I absolutely have to have is my SS and my British Para. Okay. The British Para, the only thing I don't have is their Jeep. And I've got a Jeep on the way. Warlord's already sent it. It's in the mail somewhere. So I got a Jeep coming. But let's just put that off to the side. I've got a bunch of British Paras. I got like 40 something. Kind of the same as the Fallschirmjägers. I got like a whole starter set. And then SS. The SS I need to fight the Paras at Arnhem. And I'm going to paint them with P-dot camouflage. Because I want to. I want the P-dot. And I just watched a documentary today about the Wehrmacht, and it showed all these SS guys in P-dot camouflage. It was black and white, but still, it was still looking good. I was like, whoa, that's P-dot. Okay, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do P-dot camouflage on the SS. I have more British than I have SS. Okay, that's fine. That can change. They're going to be supplemented with other German forces. Just like pretty much all my forces are going to be supplemented with Wehrmacht. I've got, we won't get into all the scenarios, but I pretty much already have all the scenarios written, or at least the basic concept of all the scenarios. I don't have their army lists and stuff like that generated yet, but I got most of it. So the British will be easier to put together and paint. So I want to do those first. The P-dot I want to take my time with. And so I'm going to do that a little bit. I'm going to do that next. I said I was going to do the Hanomag next. I never got, and I want to do those on camera. So I never really got a chance to set up the camera and record in the last few days. I've been working a lot. So I'm not going to record assembly of the British. I'm not going to, I probably will record the painting. The painting, and this is why I want to do the British. I think I can do them just like I did the Americans. I think I can do them in one day. The Americans, the ones I did for gliders, I painted that in one day. I've got a video uploaded, one video where I assemble them and one video where I paint them. that was the 2 days. One day was assembly, one day was painting. So what I'm hoping to do with the British is assemble them tonight, paint them tomorrow. The British should be easy. Probably got the Market Garden book right there. You can see the, I think it's Frost right there on the cover. Brown pants, brown jacket, brown rifles, brown boots, brown this, brown that. Basically, I'm going to paint them brown. And then spray paint, prime, brown. Then I'm going to touch up the smock with some lighter colors. Boop, boop, done. And then I'm going to paint the gaiter and the boots, whatever color, black or whatever. And then I'm going to paint their helmets, their OD green or whatever green that the British used. The British, they called it something. It was British Army green or whatever. I'm going to paint that on the helmet and the rifles, and all that stuff should be knocked out pretty quick. But the base undercoat is going to be brown. It's going to be fast. I think it's going to be fast because the smock is primarily brown with a couple of lighter colors on top of it, and the pants are brown. So pretty much their whole uniform is brown, which I got the brown paint, just British uniform brown, spray it, and then go through it. And remember, I'm going to wash, and it's going to bring everything down. It's going to highlight everything. It's going to make it look awesome. That's why I want to do the British first. And then over the next week or two, I'm going to be P-dotting it like crazy. I'm going to be taking my SS, assembling them, and going through and going 1 dot, 2 dots. Basically, I did a P-dot camouflage pattern, so I've already got experience with this. I did a P-dot and I'm going to go back to my old video because it turned out phenomenal. So I'm going to go look at my old video and I'm going to match it up. I've already got a painting German P-dot camouflage video uploaded. It's not in super high quality, so I might redo it. I might not redo it. But yeah, these next two, I don't know if I'm really even going to need to videotape because I'm just going to like knock them out like overnight. The P-dot, not so much, but I've already done a video on P-dot camouflage. I might show like one figure and just paint him from start to finish in P-dot, like a lot of these other painting tutorial video producers make. They'll like grab one model and paint it, and they'll show you how they did it. And now I might do that with a P-dot, just to save one model and don't do him, and just do all the other ones, and then just film that one guy. I might do that. And when I get to around making the Hanamags, I don't know if I even need them. I need a Hanamag to carry this frickin' anti-tank gun. That's what we're going to use for that. We're going to use a Hanamag for that. And then the SS probably should have a Hanamag, a couple of them. But I'm going to be painting them up as 10th SS Aufklärungs, which I was in Berlin for a little while, and I met a dude at a bar, or yeah, I think it was a dude. I don't remember, but it was either a guy or a girl, and it might have been a girl. I don't know, but it was somebody at a bar in Berlin, downtown Berlin, and she asked me, or maybe it was a she. She asked me like what I did in the army, and I tried to put it into military terminology in German. So I said I was an Aufklärung. Aufklärung. And she goes, "You're what?" And then she started laughing. She goes, "What?" And I was like, "Why are you laughing?" And she goes, "Aufklärung, that means person who crawls in the dirt." And I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty much what I do." Because I was in the recon platoon while I was in Berlin, and before that I was a Pathfinder. So, okay, so yeah, I think you guys are up to date. What's going on? So let me get cracking on these British Paras. And I'll see you when I get ready to paint them.